2012, the payroll for these ASI employees was run through another Apple subsidiary, AOE. The fact that AOI and ASI are not tax resident in Ireland does not reduce our U.S. taxes at all. The profits held by AOI and ASI have already been taxed by foreign governments according to the local laws where the money is earned. The investment income on their cash holdings is taxed by the U.S. government at the corporate tax rate of 35%. Apple could certainly choose to manage foreign after-tax profits in numerous foreign subsidiaries without moving the cash to AOI or ASI, but that would have absolutely no effect on the taxes we pay in the U.S. However, eliminating the central cash management function would be inefficient. Managing larger pools of cash centrally, rather than many places around the world, reduces complexity, better protects the asset, and helps us earn higher returns through the economies of scale. Today, Apple is in the fortunate position of having more cash from international operations than we need to run our company and pursue strategic opportunities. Some observers have questioned Apple's decision to fund part of its capital return to shareholders by issuing $17 billion in debt rather than repatriating foreign earnings. Apple respectfully suggests that any objective analysis will conclude that this decision was in the best interest of our shareholders. If Apple had used foreign earnings to return capital, the funds would have been diminished by the very high U.S. corporate tax rate of 35%. By contrast, given today's historically low interest rates, the cost of issuing debt was less than 2%. Mr. Cook, Mr. Bullock, and I would be happy to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oppenheimer. Ms. Bullock?
Good morning.
Good morning. Do you have any?
Our statement is concluded, Senator.
Thank you. First, let me thank Apple for the cooperation that it has extended to the subcommittee. We very much appreciate that. I think, Mr. Cook, you made reference to, you quoted President Kennedy. I'm wondering whether you would agree with the following statement of President Kennedy that he made in his April 1961 tax message, that deferral has served as a shelter for tax escape through the unjustifiable use of tax havens, such as Switzerland. Recently, more and more enterprises organized abroad by American firms have arranged their corporate structures, aided by artificial arrangements between parent and subsidiary regarding intercompany pricing, the transfer of patent licensing rights, the shifting of management fees, and similar practices which maximize the accumulation of profits in the tax haven. Do you agree with that?
The president and his brother have been long-term heroes of mine. So I'm sure if he said it at the time, it was true. Today, from at least our point of view, I don't consider deferral to be a sham or abusive in any kind of way.
Mr. Bullock, does Apple Inc. own directly or indirectly AOI, AOE, and ASI?
Yes, Apple Inc. owns directly or indirectly AOI, AOE, and ASI.
All right. So all those companies in Ireland are owned by Apple effectively, is that correct?
They are all legally owned by Apple Inc., yes.
And where is AOI, Mr. Bullock, functionally managed and controlled?
In our view, it is functionally managed and controlled, which is an Irish legal concept in the United States.
In a February 11 letter to the subcommittee, Apple wrote us that it has, quote, not made a determination regarding the location of AOI's central management and control. Why did you tell us that?
Mr. Chairman, the reason we responded in that manner is that under Irish law, the requirement for evaluating or concluding on the tax residency of Ireland looks to whether or not central management control takes place in Ireland or not. It does not formally require that you make a determination that it takes place somewhere else.
But you've told us here this morning that you believe that the location of AOI's central management and control is in the United States. So Apple's concluded that, is that correct?
Yes, and I believe that in a previous meeting with your staff, they asked the same question, and I believe that I provided the same response.
Mr. Cook, do you agree that the location of AOI's central management and control is in the United States?
Sir, I don't know what the legal definition of that is, but from a practical point of view, yes.
Now, relative to ASI, Mr. Bullock, is ASI functionally managed and controlled in the United States?
As a practical matter, applying the Irish legal standard of central management and control, I believe that it is centrally managed and controlled from the United States.
And does Apple agree that it is functionally managed and controlled in the United States?
Under Irish law, yes.
No, under our law, do you believe that?
I don't believe that central management and control is a legal term under U.S. tax law.
All right. Do you believe it is functionally managed and controlled in the United States?
Yes.
Mr. Cook, do you agree?
We have significant employees in Ireland. We have about 4,000. And so there's a significant amount of decisions and leadership and negotiations that go on in Ireland. But some of the most strategic ones do take place in the United States.
Would you agree that on balance that ASI is functionally managed and controlled in the United States?
From a practical matter, I don't know the legal definition of the word.
As a practical matter, you would agree that it is functionally managed and controlled in the United States?
Yes, Senator.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Bullock, AOI is incorporated in Ireland, is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, it is incorporated in Ireland.
And where is AOI a tax resident?
It does not have a tax residency. That does not mean that it does not pay taxes.
This hearing on Apple's corporate tax policy will continue, expected to go until about 1 p.m. Eastern. Our coverage continues live online at cspan.org. But here on C-SPAN, we're going to the U.S. House next. You can see at the Capitol, all the flags around the U.S. Capitol have been ordered at half-staff by leadership in the House and Senate. We expect moments of silence.